Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of the MENA Summer Sessions 2023 by Macmillan Education MENA. A very warm welcome to you all. Some people joining us on Zoom from Jordan, from Egypt, from Libya. Wonderful, all these lovely MENA countries. If you're joining us on Facebook, please do send us a note there as well. Let us know where you're joining us from. So get right down to business. It is the summer. What is your favorite thing about the summer, everybody? Mine is that I get to wear fun, beachy shirts. See, I've mixed up my outfits. Normally I'm in a smart outfit, a bit like Mohammad is there in the background with his suit and tie. But no, I'm letting my hair down and enjoying the summer because the temperature is rising a lot here in Dubai. We're up into the mid-40s already. But what's your favorite thing about the summer, other than the fact that you might get a bit of time off? So as for today, the beach, we love going to the beach. Today, we're going to be looking at developing students' oral fluency inside and outside of the classroom. A very warm welcome to Mohammad Nabil from Educast, who's been doing an amazing job recently. We've seen him all over social media. We've been a part of his wonderful, was it conference or symposium? One of the two.
Yeah, conference.
Conference.
Last February.
A huge, wonderful online conference. We've collaborated several times on podcasts. We've done webinars together. And he's joining us again this evening. So Mohammad, a warm welcome to you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, thank you. And I hope you're doing well, you and Nawar here. And thank you for this wonderful introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I love the summer too, but yeah, apart from, the high temperature.
Yeah, of course, everybody's used to the high temperature now. We acclimatized, we're used to it. And we've also got from Jordan, our colleague Nawar. Nawar, good evening.
Good evening, Nathan. Good evening, everyone.
How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, doing well. Thank you.
And Nawar is going to be joining us for a short follow-up session looking at our adult course Language Hub and how the activities in that can bring some of these activities that Mohammad's going to talk about to life in your classrooms. So without further ado, if you haven't joined us before, this webinar is being brought to you by the MENA PD Academy, our professional development academy for teachers in the Middle East and North Africa, or MENA. If you hear me saying MENA a lot, some people say, what is MENA? MENA is the Middle East and North Africa. So the Professional Development Academy, or the MENA PD Academy, is a professional development community and platform to help empower teachers and inspire learning and advance learning, which is a big Macmillan thing, in the Middle East and North Africa. So if you're an English language teacher, you can go to the website, you can scan that QR code if you want. I will finish with this slide. So at the end, this will be the final slide. So you can scan it at the end as well if you wish. But you can go to the website and you can see a variety of things that we've got going on. And you can subscribe, and I send out a monthly email letting everybody know all of our activities that are happening for the month ahead. So subscribe to that and keep up to date. So this is the MENA PD Academy. To tell you a little bit more about it, I invited this little fella to come and explain all about it. He's got questions. What is the MENA PD Academy, he says? Well, it is, as I just mentioned, an online professional development platform, and it's here to help you advance learning in your classrooms if you are a teacher in the Middle East and North Africa. And you can find us pretty much anywhere. We've got a website. It's free to join. And we've got social media pages. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We've got a YouTube page as well, where this recording will end up. And all of that's linked into the website. So a nice, easy one place to go to find out everything that we have and everything that we do. These summer sessions, 2 weeks worth of professional development webinars, born from this report, which I wrote and released a couple of weeks ago. It's on the homepage of the website. You can see it as a slideshow. You can download a free copy. It's an intensive report based on the survey that we did with about 200 teachers here in the Middle East and North Africa at the end of last year, or the middle of last year. So I collated all of that information and I wrote a report. So if you want to find out why teachers love teaching in MENA, what challenges they have, how they get their students writing and speaking, lots of tips, lots of signposting in that report as well. So go and have a look at it and let me know your thoughts. If you've got any questions, I'm always here in the background ready to help. Link up with me on LinkedIn and I will be happy to talk about any of these things in the future. As for today, though, we've mentioned it's all around oral fluency and speaking skills in the teen and young adult classroom. And it's all going to be built around this product, Language Hub, which is designed to connect people through English. I'm not going to tell you much about it because Nawar is going to give you a really good overview and look in depth at some of the activities. But this is a 6-level general English course for adults and young adults. And it really helps them to enjoy communicating. And I think we're going to see some really good examples of that later. Big question, as always, will there be a certificate? Yes, there will be a certificate. It'll come out in the next few weeks. I'm going on annual leave. And of course, there's 2 weeks worth of webinars. So there's going to be hundreds of certificates to send out. Be patient. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, you will get a certificate. You will also get a little virtual goodie bag in the email that you receive with that, because I've got some extra goodies, some of them around Language Hub, some of them around general professional development activities that we run. So keep your eyes out for that. If you haven't heard by Christmas, get in touch with me and I will make sure you definitely get one. But you will get one because I have all of your details from the registration forms and I can make sure I send them out. Of course, we've still got more webinars next week. You've got me looking at differentiation on Monday. We've got Miriam coming to look at speaking skills for younger learners on Tuesday. We've got the amazing Anna Hasper joining us on Wednesday, looking at global skills. And we're going to finish again with productive skills on Thursday with Hala. And as you've probably noticed, the 3 themes for these webinars, the summer sessions, have come from that report that I just mentioned. The things that teachers in MENA said that they wanted help with was productive skills, getting students to speak and write confidently and fluently, differentiation and inclusion, helping all students to succeed, and motivation and empowerment, which is always a big one, classroom management, how to get students involved, engaged, motivated to learn English. So they're the 3 themes. And as you can see, we've got loads of content around them. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and I'm going to pass over to Mohammad, who is going to be conducting the first part of the webinar. Mohammad, if you want to screen share, please feel free.
Well,
I'm going to check what people wrote in the chat box now, see what people were saying. Lots of people from all over the place. Oman, KSA, Algeria, Morocco. Good. We've got a real mix of people from all over MENA, which is fantastic. Mohammed, have a wonderful session. I will be keeping an eye on the chat box, and if any questions come up, I will address them with you at the end if I'm not able to answer them quickly in the chat box. If someone says, is there a certificate? I will answer that straight away. But people ask their questions if they have any in the chat box. But hope you all enjoy. Mohammed, best of luck, and I'll see you in a short while.
Well, thank you. Thank you again for the wonderful introduction. And thanks everyone for being here with us. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the productive skills in the English classroom, which is speaking. So our title for today's presentation is Speak Up, Developing Learners' Speaking Skills. Okay. So before doing anything, let me tell you a little bit about myself. And I want you to type your ideas in the chat box. I'm looking at it all the time. Okay. So that's me, of course, but in black and white. And this is me, Mohammad Nabil, and I'm an educational consultant and teacher trainer. And I'm also the founder of Educast International Association. Well, actually, it's a pleasure to be collaborating again with Nathan Wooler and Macmillan Education MENA. That's our 4th collaboration. And as you can see on the left of my screen, thank you, you can find some words and a phrase. These words tell you something about me. So I want some guessings in the chat box. We have a decade, 2, workaholic, Mo, reading, interviews, podcasting, yeah, football. So what do you think these words tell you about me? Let's start first with decade. Well, actually, they're not 10. They are above 10. Yeah, that's my 12th year. So actually, yeah, I've been involved in this field for about over a decade. Yeah, 11 or 12 years. Yeah, what about 2? Number 2. Of course, you know everything. Yeah. What about 2? Your kids. Yeah. You know, Nathan, there are a lot of people who know me here. Yeah. So it will be so much easy to answer my questions. Yes, they are my kids. I have 2 kids. And of course, people call me Mo. What about workaholic? That's me. Yeah. I like working a lot. Yeah. Right. You don't know. Okay. And what about reading? Yeah, actually, it's my favorite hobby. Yeah, that's right. I love reading books. So we have football. Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, I used to play football a long time ago. Yeah, I still play it. Yeah, I scored 2 goals yesterday. And what about interviews? Well, actually, you are the interviewer. Yes, you're right. Actually, I have a podcast, and this leads us to the word podcasting. I have a podcast where I interview ELT experts from different parts of the world. Yeah, that's right. And last but not least, here is a quote that I always like to follow in my life. I always do for others more than I do for myself. And I hope you do the same thing. Yeah, very good. Great. So that's me. So before we start, I want you to type your names or, where you're joining us and something that you are interested in. So I'm following the chat box. Okay. Teaching. Um, Teaching, Qatar. Okay, literature and teaching. Very good. Okay, books. Wonderful. Anything related to teaching? Great. The chat box is going quickly. Listening to music and reading. Academic writing. Wow, that's good. Okay. And teacher of English, reading. Okay, very good, great. So lots of different interests here, which is very good. So guys, in today's presentation, we are going to discover the importance of speaking skills, why we as teachers teach speaking skills, and why is it important for our learners to develop their speaking skills. We're also going to go through and identify the factors affecting speaking skills development and offer practical solutions to develop learners oral fluency. And last but not least, try to list some ideas for assessing learners' speaking skills. So let's get started. So in the chat box, I want you to tell me about your ideas. Why speaking? Why do we teach speaking? Why do our learners need speaking? Okay, someone says to contact, to communicate, wonderful, communication, engage with others, express our ideas, okay, communicate in real life, improving our language, future careers. That's wonderful. Contact, share, and express ideas. Great. Great, to communicate. So great, that's right. Very good ideas. Self-confidence, talking is more important, is important to learn, or speaking is important to learn. That's right. So a lot of lovely ideas. And of course, these ideas are also included in my presentation. Someone says it's a part of acquiring any language, which is right. Yeah, you're right. Very good. Okay. So to exchange ideas. Yeah, very good. So guys, speaking skills are really important for teenagers and young adults for a lot of reasons. Of course, as you said, the first reason, which is communication, and of course, we teach speaking for academic success, right? Just a second, there's something wrong happening with my presentation. Yeah, that's right. So as you can see, we teach speaking for academic success, right? So strong speaking skills always contribute to academic success. Our students need to participate in class discussions, deliver presentations, and of course, work with their mates and their groups. So proficient speaking abilities also enable them to articulate their knowledge, express their ideas, and collaborate effectively with their mates. So that's one thing. And of course, as you can see in the second picture, you can see a picture of two people who are, telling jokes to each other. But of course, this is communication, and communication isn't only about telling jokes. It's communication in the real world. As you know, speaking is a fundamental aspect of communication in everyday life. Of course, if a teacher works on developing his learners' speaking skills, teenagers and young adults can effectively express their thoughts in any context, their ideas and opinions in various personal, academic, and professional settings. So the third reason is career readiness. Of course, you know that, and of course, we as teachers, whenever we try to look for jobs, language is always required. Language fluency or English speaking, spoken, English fluency is always required. So, of course, in today's globalized and interconnected world, and of course, you know that English is an international language. Learning English or developing speaking skills for career readiness is really important, as employers value effective communication skills, including speaking proficiency. So strong speaking skills abilities enhance job prospects, as they enable teenagers and young adults to express themselves clearly, engage in persuasive communication, and collaborate with colleagues, right? So there are three reasons, and the fourth one is active participation. So of course, you know that our learners are always required to participate in the classroom. And if our students have proficient speaking skills, this helps them to actively participate in society. So it will help them inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So they can voice their opinions, advocate for causes they believe in, engage in debates, and contribute to meaningful discussions on the issues in their societies and global societies. Okay. Speaking skills are also important to work on the students' self-confidence and personal development. So developing speaking skills helps develop self-confidence and self-esteem in the learners. So when teenagers and young adults can express themselves confidently and fluently, they become more comfortable in social situations and develop a positive self-image. Speaking skills is also, or are also important to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So as speaking promotes critical thinking and problem-solving skills. When students engage in verbal skills or in verbal discussions, they learn to analyze information, try to solve problems, evaluate different perspectives, and present logical arguments, fostering their ability to think critically and make informed decisions. One final reason is that it's really important to work on cultural and intercultural competence. So speaking skills makes it easy or make it easy to develop the students' cultural and intercultural competence through discussions and interactions. Students gain a deeper understanding of different cultures, perspectives, and beliefs because we're all different. Again, because English is an international language, we deal with people from different cultures, different backgrounds. It's really important to understand other cultures and backgrounds. So the students, when they develop speaking skills, they learn to appreciate diversity and develop the skills necessary for effective and cross-cultural communication. So these some of the reasons why our learners need to develop their speaking skills. Since we know the problem here, or since we want to know the problem in order to try to offer some solutions for our problem, I need you to share in the chat box your ideas about the factors affecting speaking skills development for our learners. What are the problems that our learners face when developing speaking skills? So Nathan says confidence. That should come on top of the list. Lack of self-confidence. That's right, shyness, great. Lack of vocabulary. That's right, some people, don't have enough vocabulary to express their ideas freely. Grammar. Yeah, shyness to pronounce some words. Grammar also, syntax. Okay, great. Confidence. First, language interference. That's right. Partner to speak with. Yes, lack of practice. Class settings. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's right. Very good pronunciation. They don't have enough confidence. Very good. And the fear. Yeah, the fear of what, Angie? That's a wonderful part here. The fear of making mistakes, right? Skills and language to express ideas. Very good ideas. So I've listed some ideas here about the factors that hinder language skills development. The first one here on my list is input. Then we have motivation. Okay. Then confidence. It's a very big problem. Just a second. Yeah, anxiety and fear. Practice and exposure. Feedback and correction. Cultural factors. Learning environment. Yeah, that's right. Individual learning styles and age and language background. So let's talk about them one by one. Let's start first with language input. Of course, the environment where the students are in helps them to develop their learning skills or their speaking skills. So if a student is not having a comfortable learning environment, he will not be able to develop his speaking skills, right? Yeah, again, so the students should always be exposed to authentic materials or an environment where language is spoken naturally in order to be able to use that language and practice using it, right? Also, the students need to, have some kind of opportunities and they should be motivated to speak. Some students lack motivation to speak. And I always, in my classes, I always ask the students about the reason why they are learning English at the very beginning of the academic year, in order to deal with their motivation. Some students don't know, why they are learning English or why even they come to the classroom. Okay, so again, some students need motivation. Some students need appraisal. Some students need to know that mistakes are, they are, or mistakes is a very important part of the learning process. Without mistakes, we will never develop or we will never improve. Okay. Again, confidence. This is something that most of our learners in the MENA region lack. So we need to tell the students again that it's okay to make mistakes. We as teachers always make mistakes. So yes, it's acceptable, but the most important part is to learn from our mistakes, right? Yeah. So again, ask the students to work together, come up with ideas, give them some time to think about what they're going to speak about before asking them to speak. Give them some time. Some students don't feel, confident enough. They don't have enough ideas to use when speaking, okay? And again, always praise them, praise their good efforts. The anxiety and fear, and again, guys, as you can see, some of these problems or these factors are somehow connected together, right? So if we're talking about motivation, confidence, anxiety, and fear, they are somehow connected, because we as teachers sometimes neglect giving the students some time to think. Sometimes, as Nasser says in the chat box, some of us as teachers are impatient. We want the students to speak whenever we ask them at once. So this can't be done. You have to give the students enough time to think, brainstorm their ideas. They can brainstorm their ideas together in groups so that they can come up with ideas from different, perspectives. Okay, and again, there are some cases where you should deal with the students individually. And also, yeah, time is important here. Yeah, that's right. And also allow the students to talk about things that they love. Okay. Again, as I always tell my fellow teachers, if you're starting your lessons, if you're having a good start, a very good personalized start that grabs the attention of your learners, they will feel interested and motivated, and they will lose their fear to speak. They will speak, okay? And again, one important note here is that never interrupt the flow of the students' ideas. Please don't do it, please. Because if you did so, they will stop, they would stop talking forever. Okay, so give them some time, allow them enough time to think and speak, and then never interrupt the flow of their ideas. Allow the students and provide the students with good opportunities to speak. Add some discussions, depend on role plays, debates. Ask the students to create presentations, present on topics that they are interested in. Okay, so give them some time. Okay, and they will develop their speaking skills over time. But again, you have to provide them with solutions, with methods. Okay. Again, they need to be to get exposed to language through, for example, culture exchange experiences. You can plan for this. You can invite wonderful people whose first language is English to come and talk to them. You can, have some kind of cultural exchange experience using students from a country whose language is English, whose first language is English, and the students can, exchange ideas together, and now they can listen to the language spoken naturally in real contexts. Okay. Feedback and correction. Some teachers rush and interrupt the students' ideas and provide them feedback on the spot. Of course, this doesn't always work well because some students who are shy, who are always afraid of making mistakes, you know, feel, you know, afraid to speak. So provide them with good feedback, productive feedback, give the students a sense of progress because a student who doesn't feel like he's progressing will never try again. Okay. Encourage peer correction, peer feedback, ask the students to respect each other, maybe elicit correction with each other. And you can be the model in your lessons, by the way. If you help the students correct their own mistakes by elicitation techniques, you know, the students themselves might follow your steps and do the same thing. So yes, that's right. As Marwa says in the chat box, monitoring is really, really crucial here. That's right. Okay, so cultural factors, again, because again, in the classes, we deal with different contexts when we use course books, different course books. So we're exposed to the language through different cultures. So we need to teach the students to respect cultural differences, diversity, and all of this stuff. So yes, cultural factors can hinder the students' speaking skills development. If you do not provide the students with a comfortable learning environment, they will never make any progress in the learning, you know, process. Again, the students need a comfortable learning environment. So the learning environment hinders the students' speaking skills development. And again, as you know, we deal with learners from different, with different interests, with different preferences, with different learning styles. So some students might be visual, so they are good at, you know, or they expect the language to be introduced to them through videos and you know, pictures and all of this. Some others are not visuals, so they need to listen to things and take down notes maybe. Some others need to do things by themselves, stand up and move around the classroom. So you have to address all of this in your lesson plans in order to help the students with their speaking skills. Last but not least, age and language background. And again, the age is really important here because, yeah, young learners, you know, are better at learning and, you know, faster to learn and process information, especially when we're talking about the language. So again, young learners, teenagers, maybe, yeah, young learners and teenagers come to the classroom with high expectations. So we need to help them with that. Okay, and of course, adults come with their prior knowledge. So all of these factors hinder the development of speaking skills. So since we know the problems now, let's try to offer some practical solutions. How can a teacher help learners develop speaking skills? I'm looking at the chat box at the moment. Okay, so someone says, pre-teach some vocabulary, encourage them, give them time to talk a lot, scaffold the process, that's right. Help them with some functional language, right? Okay, motivation to speak, help them to practice speaking. Yeah, come to Blackboard. No idea, tried everything and failed. Role plays, confidence, yeah. Write word bank before the task, instructions. Let them speak freely without a negative comments. Yeah. Let them speak about themselves, practice, role play, discussion. Wonderful ideas, guys. So I've listed some ideas here to develop learners' speaking skills. So number one, try to create a supportive classroom environment. That's number one. Number two, provide speaking opportunities. Try using debates, discussions, role plays, have the students create presentations, model and scaffold speaking skills. And again, some teachers start their speaking task or start the speaking task by just asking the students to speak immediately. And this never works, you know. You have to ask the students to think first about that, maybe share ideas with their mates, get some other ideas from them, provide them with useful language, okay? Model the task for them, okay? You might choose the strongest student in the classroom and model, for example, a role play with him, and then ask the others to follow the same steps, okay? Scaffold speaking skills, model everything for them, provide the students with useful language, give them a safe classroom environment, give them some time, enough time to think. All of that will help the students develop learners' speaking skills. Incorporate authentic materials and real-life contexts. You can use language from the news, from newspapers. You can use videos, podcasts, and all of this stuff where the language, where English is spoken naturally in real life situations. This will help the students a lot, okay? Because again, the students are supposed to apply what's being taught in the classroom outside the classroom, right? Because the students aren't only expected to practice English inside the classroom, they also need to practice it and use English outside the classroom. Another solution is foster peer collaboration and feedback. And again, before you give them the task, okay, you might brainstorm, you might ask them to brainstorm. Oh, yeah, give them the task and ask them to think individually first, write down their ideas, share their ideas with their peers, okay, ask them to work together. And if you are a good classroom manager, you will be really good at doing that. Again, ask the students to respect each other. And of course, again, guys, it depends on the nature of the activity, because in some debates, you have to divide the classroom into two parties, you know, the party who agrees on something and the party who doesn't agree on something, okay? So foster peer collaboration, have the students work together and maybe give feedback to each other. And again, this comes with training. It doesn't come overnight, okay? Use technology, and technology is everywhere. We have a lot of platforms, applications on Android or, you know, on cell phones, where the students can, you know, speak English, practice speaking. Maybe, by the way, when we talk about technology, the students might use cell phones or any other thing to record themselves, talk about themselves, talk about what they learn in the classroom, do projects, present on something, maybe create podcasts. These are some wonderful ideas. Yeah, that's right, Ms. Marwa, great suggestions. They can use quizzes, Kahoot, Bambuzi, and many other alternatives, okay? Of course, you have to use multimedia resources like videos and audios, have the students listen to podcasts and summarize or take down some notes and come to the classroom to talk about what they learned. Working in teams motivates learners to speak, that's right. Provide the learners with guided practice and feedback. Again, if you're teaching the learners vocabulary or grammar lessons, you cannot ask the learners to speak using the target language after finishing the presentation stage, because they will make many mistakes and they will feel demotivated. So again, provide the learners with some kind of practice, guided practice or controlled practice stage, as we call them. Yeah, that's right. In order to give them more confidence, give them more practice. So if the student is confident enough of the language he's going to use, he will speak freely using it, right? Provide the students with feedback, maybe one-to-one feedback, or, in the whole class feedback stage. That's right. Yeah, you can use the controlled and semi-controlled if the target language is a little bit difficult or new to the learners. And then ask them to do the freer practice task, which might be speaking. Promote authentic communication opportunities, and we talked a lot about that. You can offer the students and provide them with opportunities where they can speak with native speakers. They can share ideas and exchange ideas with people from other countries, where again, English is used in real life situations. Okay. Foster self-confidence and motivation. Again, a student who is not motivated will not speak. Okay, so of course you should have a class profile. You should be aware enough of the students' levels, the students' difficulties in learning, and everything about them, so that you can be better able, you can be better at dealing with their problems. You should know the students' problems, the students' needs, and work hard to respond to their needs. Someone says the network is weak. So Nathan, is my voice clear? Okay, it's okay now. Oh yeah, okay, great. So again, I was saying, a student who is not motivated, he will never produce a good language, okay, because he is forced to do. If you as a teacher, if you are forced to do something, you will never do it in a good way, right? So foster and work on developing self-confidence and motivation in your students. Okay, so how can a teacher help learners, not help learners? Yeah, actually there is something here. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and share it again, Nathan, just a second. Okay. Second. Let me share the screen. Okay, can you all confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, great. That's good. So let's get back to yeah, we were there. We're done with this part. Okay, great. So again, how can a teacher assess the students' speaking skills? How can a teacher assess the students' speaking skills? So could you please type your ideas in the chat box? How can we assess the learners' speaking skills? So Ms. Emma says rubrics, and Mrs. Ra says freer practice. Okay, any other ideas? Using picture prompt. Speaking English. preparation stage before speaking? Okay, maybe. Short dialogue, small talks first. Well, okay. So I have a list of ideas for you here to help you assess your learners' speaking skills. So you can use oral presentations. You can ask the learners to prepare presentations. They can work in groups and ask a volunteer to present for them. Okay. And of course, you can provide them with a criteria or a rubric where you can assess their speaking skills, maybe the vocabulary, grammar, presentation skills, using of body language, and you know, and all of this stuff. Okay, so this should be a good idea. Of course, you can use role plays and simulations. These are good ideas to assess the learners' speaking skills. And again, you should provide them with rubrics or criteria to help you assess their speaking skills. Peer and self-assessment, that's a very good learner-centered way to assess the students' progress in speaking skills. Because if you help the students, again, you're the model for them. So the students always follow your steps, okay? So the students, if they have rubrics, they can assess each other and they can provide each other with feedback. Yeah, that's good, right? Okay, conversations and interviews. Okay, so you can have one-to-one conversations with the students and assess their speaking skills following a rubric, or, you know, have interviews with them. You can also use discussions, okay? And again, the ideas might be one of the criteria used in assessing your learners. Performance-based tasks, yeah? So again, if you're, this can be done in the classroom when you try to assess the progress and the performance of the students in each of the activities done in the classroom. So that's a good way. Recorded or video-based assessments. You can ask the students to record videos for themselves talking about something, for example, and then provide feedback for them or assist them, assess their speaking skills. Formal speaking tests like IELTS, the IELTS or TOEFL, or, you know, because we work in schools, we have our final tests or midterm tests. These are used to assess the learner's speaking skills. And of course, there are a lot of items that we should be assessing them on, the range of grammar, vocabulary, the ideas, you know, the fluency, of course, yeah, and all of this stuff. The recording won't work with female students in some parts of MENA. Okay, so we have an alternative. They can record themselves talking just in the form of audios. You know, you can encourage the learners to create their own podcasts and talk about the things that they learn. And then you can use these audios to assess these learners. Okay, so my final thoughts. Okay, again, we're dealing with different learners. Okay, we might have the same issues in this region. Okay, but we have a lot of solutions to follow to deal with these issues. My final thoughts for this presentation are, number one, effective speaking development requires a mix of individualized instruction, engaging activities, and relevant assessments. And like any skills, speaking abilities require regular practice to improve and maintain. Again, it depends on the more opportunities you provide for your learners and the consistency. This will help any teacher to identify the weakness points and help his learners to improve these weakness points. And of course, it will help developing the language level of the students. Technology and teaching techniques are constantly evolving. So continue to explore and experiment. Technology, we are in the age of technology and artificial intelligence. Every day we see, you know, a new platform, a new tool, and all this stuff. So we need to keep ourselves updated with all of that. Okay, so that's all for now. I hope that I didn't exceed the time, Nathan.
No, you didn't. Perfect.
Okay, very good. So waiting for questions. Your questions are welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed. Really interesting to think about all of these different aspects that have an impact on students' ability to learn how to speak, but also their ability to perform speaking. Sometimes I think that we feel like they're learning English and speaking will just come naturally to them because they'll have the language and the language is in there, it will just flow out, right? They know it. Why won't it come out? And actually, as you quite rightly pointed out, there's a lot more to speaking than just having that language. I made a few notes as I was going through. I liked all of the activities and different things. I like the fact that speaking needs to be a student-centered activity. I really like this. We've got to put them front and center of this particular activity because they do need more time. Sometimes our expectations, as you mentioned, are really high of them. We expect them to be able to speak as a response, but sometimes they need some time to think about how to formulate what it is they're going to say, their ideas, what words they're going to use. Are they going to change words and use synonyms? These types of things. There's a lot going on in a very short period of time. And I think the other thing related to that I see a lot in young learner teaching in this region is that we're teaching them something simple. If you look at very young learner classes, they're teaching them phonics and individual letters. And then they'll do this thing where they say like, stand up, Mohammed, and like, tell me a story. And so it doesn't match up, right? We're trying to teach them something super simple, but we ask them to perform something super complex. And then we get a bit frustrated that they're not able to stand up and tell us all about their weekend. And then that makes them feel they lose that confidence, as you say, and then they're not motivated to speak, and they become shy. And education, I think one part perhaps that we didn't touch on in this is the importance of all the different parts of education working together. So if teachers who are joining us today are teachers of teens and young adults, you are very much building on what happens in pre-primary and primary and the experiences that they went through in those times. So you could be, in effect, trying to rectify that damaged confidence already. So it might not be that they don't want to speak, but their primary experiences have told them that speaking is going to get me into trouble, or speaking is going to get me bad grades. So I'll just not get involved. And then you've got to break that down and try to create this friendly classroom environment that's safe for them and that they want to speak in. So yeah, loads of great stuff. And I like the stuff around technology as well. I mean, if you think about 20 years ago, speaking was, we take these familiar topics and we're going to talk about them. Now they've got so many different ways to talk. Like you said, they can record their own voice, so they can be practicing at home, just like speaking into their phone and recording it and then playing it back to themselves. And they could do it with a friend. So, okay, let's just have a WhatsApp group and we just send voice messages to each other to practice for tomorrow's class. Encourage them to do those things because it'll really help them. Because I think the last point that you said about practice, it's the same as any skill. You've just got to put the time in and practice this skill. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And it's the same for anyone, even for us. Public speaking, the first time we do a presentation, heart is pounding like crazy. We're super nervous. We're sweaty. We don't know what to say. We do lots of ums and ahs. And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, the easier you find to interact with other people more naturally. And this is the same for our students, I think. So loads of great stuff, loads of great advice. Thank you very much. There was one question. It's actually a quite challenging question. So I'm going to ask you this question, but let's see how you you approach it, because it's the one that's in the Q&A. So the question is, actually, there's a few that have come up now, but it was, what about students who refuse to say anything in speaking lessons? And actually, I made this as another note because I think that teachers can be a bit afraid of speaking activities because of that teacher fear that either it will be stone cold silence, and then you're like, this is supposed to be a speaking lesson and there's no speaking at all, or it's chaos and you're not able to control who's saying what, and you're like, oh my God, I can see first language going on, and some people are using incorrect grammar, and people, there's too much going on. I'm not in control. So it can go both ways. But this person's asked about people who refuse to speak. How do you encourage people who just won't speak in class? I think it's probably more true for teen learners than adults.
Teenagers, yeah.
Adults tend
Teenagers and young adults.
Yeah, they tend to choose to go to classes. They're learning for a specific purpose. So they're usually quite enthusiastic. Adults I've ever taught have been quite enthusiastic to talk. Teenagers, on the other hand, yeah, I mean, they often, if they're in school, for example, they're like, I have to be here. I don't want to talk. And there's some people actually.
Well, okay.
So,
yeah. Well, I'm going to talk from my own experience. And again, Nathan, I think you remember that we touched this part when we were talking about learner autonomy in your podcast. Of course, some learners don't know exactly why they are in the classroom. Okay, and some students are not obedient to the rules of the classroom. That's simple and that's natural, and this can happen. So my tips here are maintaining a good classroom environment first, building strong rapport with the students, because if you don't have this good relationship with the students, you will not be able to approach the students to discuss their problems with them. So that's number one. Build strong relationships with the students, or build strong rapport with the students. Set powerful classroom rules, and there is no exception. Okay. Number three, try to have some kind of one-to-one tutoring sessions or one-to-one meetings with the students to, agree on the problems that they are having inside the classroom, to identify the problems, as we said. So some students might refuse to talk because they are just shy. So this is something that we can work on. Some students might refuse to talk because of their bad language. So we have to tell them they can make mistakes, okay, as mistakes are really natural inside the classroom. And again, we can help them with modeling. We can model the tasks for them. They can see them in front of them, and then they can imitate what happens in front of them. That's one solution. The other solution is that, as I guess, we can provide them with some gap filling exercises, for example, and conversations or dialogues to complete, okay? And then we can have them role play these dialogues with their mates, and then they can, memorize some chunks of language, okay? We can also provide them with some useful language to use, and then they can be more, interested to talk. That's one thing. But again, we as teachers, we need to praise that kind of students. They need praisal. They need to be encouraged. They need, their mates to clap for them. They need their teachers to clap for them, so that they can, keep on doing this, keep on speaking, keep on trying till they develop their speaking skills. And I know it's a little bit hard in some contexts, but again, it's worth trying, as I guess. And again, it doesn't come in an overnight. It comes over time.
Yeah, I think it's not just difficult in some, it's difficult in most circumstances, I think, trying to encourage students to speak. There's another example, somebody saying about university students, it's compulsory English. They're just not into it. They try to make it fun and engaging, but it's really difficult. I agree with the strong rapport, finding out, if it's an individual student, finding out, like you just mentioned, the root of the problem, the root of why they're refusing to speak. Yeah. There's got to be a reason why they don't want to, and then try to think about how to build up their confidence slowly, I guess, just getting them to say simple things, just to build up that confidence. And I think, I guess an additional part to that is that speaking should be goal-based, right? That we should set smart goals for speaking. And I think that breaks down sometimes because we're trying to focus on fluency and accuracy. But whatever it is we're expecting them to talk about or speak or say, it needs to be specific, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be achievable. All these 5 SMART goals, if anybody knows SMART goals, if you don't, look them up. Because really giving them the reason to speak in the first place is one part, but really, and this is why I guess we talk about the scaffolding part, is that we structure it so that, okay, you're going to prepare this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to practice this. So when it comes to the actual speaking activity, you feel full of, I can do the confidence part in terms of the presentation, but you've got everything there behind you, ready to go. You know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, you know how you're going to respond if people ask you questions. So yeah. And the last thing people were asking about, because I'm conscious of time, was around assessing speaking. Is assessing speaking a difficult task? Have you got any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really difficult, because again, sometimes you fall between two things, whether to praise the students and also provide them with a realistic feedback so that the student knows where exactly he is and what he or she needs to be working on. Okay, so assessing the student's speaking is really important to develop the whole language level. And again, because we have formal tests in our schools and all of the institutions that we work at, we need to train the students by providing them with mock tests, for example, because they are going to be tested in speaking. So the students need to know how they are assessed and what's required from them in order to work on these areas, to be better at their speaking skill. That's what I think about that. But someone here was talking about using alternative assessment in improving the students' speaking skill. So actually, alternative assessment here depends on having the teachers and the students, sharing in making judgments about the students' progress in language skills. Okay. And of course, it should be done using non-conventional strategies. So it can be used, to improve students' speaking skills by providing the students with opportunities to self-reflect, self-monitor, and receive feedback from peers and teachers. So some examples of alternative assessment for speaking skills are, self-assessment, peer assessment, portfolios, interviews, and performance tests.
Yeah, I like peer assessment, getting them to talk about how they feel and engage with somebody's speaking, whatever they've been doing for the particular part of speaking. Yeah, and I think another thing that we tend to do quite a lot in education is we only assess speaking in formal speaking situations. And that, unlike writing, breaks down this process approach a little bit. So I think we should have formative, ongoing assessment of the process of learning how to speak and how you went about it. So, and that can be feed forward, I think, not feedback. So you're telling them what they can be improving for when they get to the final task, and helping them along the way, I think, really helps students. So yeah, really nice. Okay, great. So Mohammad, thank you very much. You enjoy a little rest right now, and I'm going to welcome up to the screen Mohammad, if you would like to stop sharing so I can.
Okay, great.
Bear with us 1 second. We're going to change the screen from one to another. Nawar, if you would like to start sharing. And I think now we're going to see some examples. So some of these things that we've been talking about, I think we're going to see examples of how course books can help us to structure out those speaking activities, give students engaging content, to give them reasons to speak. But I don't want to take too much away from Nawar. Nawar, are you having problems screen sharing?
Is it not shared? Can't you see my screen?
Nope, we can just see you.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, share screen. Oh, yes, this one. Share.
Yeah, there we go.
Good.
Okay, so we've got another 20 minutes, I think, Nawar, pretty much. Leaves us 5 minutes for a Q&A at the end. Enjoy your session. Everybody enjoy learning about the speaking activities in Language Hub.
Okay. So I will be talking about Language Hub, and we'll see how, just minimize this one. Okay, I will see if or how the strategies that Mohammad has talked about are presented or incorporated in Language Hub. So before we do that, let's look at Language Hub in general. If you haven't seen Language Hub before, let's look at Language Hub. It is a 6-level general English course, and it starts from A1 and ends at C1 on the CFR framework. There are 2 versions of it. There's the American version and the British version. It's a general English course that's designed to take complexity out of teaching English. And this is done with its well-balanced skills syllabus and range of engaging and modern topics. Mohammad just said that we have to provide speaking opportunities for students and to create a supportive classroom environment. So it creates, Language Hub creates this classroom environment and opportunities for the students. It stimulates debate and brings the language alive in class, allows the students to experience the joy of learning the language and communicating with others. Let's look at some of the features of Language Hub. Number 1, it's a well-balanced skills syllabus, as we said before. It addresses all 4 skills with a special focus on speaking and communication. Every level includes 140 speaking exercises that are fully integrated with learning grammar and vocabulary. Every unit presents and practices a new reading or listening skill. And there's also a writing bank in every unit, which is a full page that teaches a different writing skill and genre. And there are also extra skills activities at the back of the book in sections called Vocabulary Hub, Grammar Hub, and Communication Hub. So there is a big focus on all skills, but special focus on speaking and communication. The second feature is easy lesson preparation. There's an interleave teacher's book, so the teacher can teach literally off the book. They don't have to have the language book, the student book, and the teacher's book. And also there's a teacher's app where they have the digital student's book where they can present on the screen in the classroom. And also on the teacher's app, there's an ebook if the teacher doesn't want teacher's book. If the teacher doesn't want to carry the teacher's book around, so they will have it on their application. The third feature is clear learning outcomes. Every unit, at the beginning of the unit, there are the teacher and the student can see the objectives, so the students will always know what's the aim of this lesson and what are they supposed to learn. There is also clear support for teachers. The teacher's book includes practical teaching tips and professional development ideas from the award-winning Macmillan Book for Teachers series. There is also the Teachers Resource Center that contains worksheets, answer keys, word lists, CFR mappings, also an e-planner so that the teacher can use it to plan the course according to the lessons that they are allowed to teach. There's also a test generator where the teacher has ready-to-go tests for every unit, also for the mid-year and end of year. They can use the ready-to-go tests or they can mix and match with the tests and create their own tests. The fourth feature is comprehensive videos for functional language learning. Again, also I'll go back to what Mohammad said, modeling and using authentic materials in real life context. This is what you find in Language Hub. There is comprehensive videos for functional language learning. This is sitcom, a comedy, situation comedy series. It's something like a mini version of Friends. And so students at this age love it. And this provides them with realistic models for their own language production. They will hear what other people say in real life, and they will, it's like a model for them to produce their own speaking task. The last feature, and a very important one also, because Mohammad mentioned, it's about technology. So there are easy to use digital resources. Language Hub is a fully flexible course. That means it can be taught face-to-face, online, or a mix of both. There is also a students app that students can download on their phones, and so it allows them flexible practice. And this practice can be for preparation or for consolidation, and they can do it on the go. It's even called on-the-go practice. And they have it in both practice mode and challenge mode. So the students have exposure to the language even outside the classroom. Also, they have on the same application, the students have the digital student book. So if they need to have the classes online, they have the online book. And also the teachers on their application, they can assign homework to the students. The student gets a notification that there is homework assigned. They will do the homework on their mobile phone and they will submit it. The teacher will get a notification that the homework was submitted. So technology is clearly incorporated in Language Hub, and this is something that students at this age like to do. Let's look at speaking in Language Hub. Okay, activities, speaking activities in Language Hub are staged from more controlled to more autonomous, and from less challenging to more challenging. So at the beginning, the practice is a bit restricted, then it becomes freer and freer. And so this is what scaffolding is, and what scaffolding, what Mohammad has talked about also earlier. So students slowly, they get the confidence, they start losing their fear and their anxiety, and they get the confidence to produce the speaking task at the end. And how is this done? First of all, there are individual skill sections and with short speaking tasks. So each individual skill section, whatever it is, has a speaking task. So let's see here, reading. This is lesson 1 in the intermediate course in unit 2. This is lesson number 1. It has a reading section. At the end of the reading section, as you can see, there's a speaking section. And here the students work in pairs. First, they are introduced to the text through the reading section. And the main speaking task that they have to do at the end is to talk about your neighborhood. It appears, the objective appears on the top. So they start with the reading. They read a text that is similar to what they are supposed to speak about. And then they have a short speaking task, which is working in pairs. The questions are, do you want to see forest cities in your country? Why or why not? So they will have to talk to the other student, the pair, the partner. And the second question is, should we pay more to live in clean cities? Why and why not? It's all taken from the reading. That's to give them ideas about what to say later. Then the grammar section. Here it's about adverbs of degree. So they will learn the adverbs of degree. And at the end also there is a speaking task to use these adverbs of degree in this context of what they are supposed to say later on. So look at the pictures of unusual buildings and use adverbs of degree to describe them. So they will be using the adverbs of degree to talk about the picture. This will lead them to the speaking task later on. Vocabulary, also the vocabulary section in the same lesson has a speaking task at the end, also working in pairs. The students will work in pairs, they will say the adjective, and so the vocabulary here is about describing places. Again, it has to do with the task that comes later on. After that, at the end of the lesson, after each section, they have used the grammar, they have used the vocabulary that they have learned. Now they will go to the speaking task that comes after the lesson. At the end of the lesson, they become confident and they know the vocabulary, they know the grammar, and they can produce this speaking task at the end of the lesson.
Have we lost
this happens in
well, I think we might have lost you. Or is it my connection?
Yes?
Yes, you're back.
Okay, good.
I wasn't sure if it was just me, if it was my internet connection, or whether it was everybody.
I don't know.
I think, yeah, it was a connection, yeah. But now, you know, I can hear better.
Yeah, no, okay. You're back. You're back.
So then at the end of each lesson, there is a longer speaking task. It's linked to the lesson objectives. So as you can see, all the objectives are speaking objectives. Talk about your neighborhood, talk about your life and routines, talk about your life routine, talk about your life events. It's all speaking except for the last objective, which is writing. So here, one of the objectives is the first objective is linked to the first lesson, talk about your neighborhood. And here is the long speaking task that comes with it. Here, the students are confident enough, as I said, to actually be able to do the speaking task on their own. Then, I don't know why I can't. Yes, okay. The speaking hub, there is also a speaking hub section. This is also another speaking activity that comes for each unit, and it's usually after lesson 3. It is a more detailed and structured speaking practice at the end of lesson 3. It is made of staged activities with elements of preparation, planning, and then practice. It is also scaffolded again. It's the students will prepare, plan, and after that they will discuss or they will present whatever the activity is. So now the speaking task is becoming more and more challenging for the students, and more freer for the students, less restricted. Then we get to the last lesson, which is the Cafe Hub videos, and these gives input for additional productive practice. The videos are a series of amusing situation comedies. The characters start off as strangers, and after that they become best friends. And as I said, it's a mini version of Friends. Nathan can play one of the episodes of Cafe Hub.
Yeah, shall we watch one? Do you want to
yes,
watch?
Please. Can we play one of them? Yes.
Yeah, I've got one here on my laptop. I can play if you wish. I think.
I will stop sharing.
Fingers crossed that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me know if you can't see it.
Seriously?
Oh, hi, Nina. What's wrong?
Someone is playing dance music in the flat above my bedroom.
Really? Cool.
No, it's not cool. I need to get to sleep. I have another interview tomorrow. What do you think I should do?
You could ask them to turn the volume down?
I guess I could. But who listens to loud dance music on a Sunday night? Maybe they're crazy.
You're right. I'm not sure it's a good idea. How about using some earplugs?
That's a good idea, but I don't have any.
I do. Here you go.
Cool, thanks, Gabby. I'll try them. Good night.
Enter! Hey, Nina. What's the problem?
Oh, Zach, the people upstairs are playing loud music. I need to sleep.
Let me help you out here. Earplugs.
I tried them, they didn't work. I don't know what to do. What do you suggest?
Why don't you go upstairs and talk to them?
Really? I'm not sure, Zach.
I think you should go and talk to them. And why don't we come with you? You can rely on us. All of us. Let's prepare.
Shall I go first?
I feel like I should stop it to add to the suspense. But let's finish.
Hello? Let me turn the music down. You'll have to speak loudly, as I'm quite deaf in this ear, and that ear too.
Yeah, nice. Okay, let me stop sharing so you can go back to your presentation. I think you're on mute, Nawar.
Okay, so you are screen sharing. The lesson is about this functional language, or this a Cafe Hub video series. It starts first with the functional language that, yes, okay. So it starts with the functional language that is used, and then the useful phrases that the characters are using. After that, the pronunciation. So with the functional language, the students are exposed to the functional language in real world situations, and they will start learning these useful phrases and use them in their everyday lives. And it will also give them the pronunciation here at the sentence level. So when the video, when Mina, the character, said seriously, and the intonation, the stress, And it focuses also on the rhythm in both the British and American English pronunciation. So the students here will also, again, like it's a scaffolded approach, and will reach a certain amount of stage of confidence where they can produce the speaking themselves. Here I just magnified the functional language. It's about ask for and give advice. It's all found in the video. Then the useful phrases, another exercise about you or activity about useful phrases. Then the pronunciation, and after that they can do the task themselves at the end of the lesson. There is also further speaking practice on the student app. This is very interesting as well. The students can use their phones and they can practice more speaking. The teacher also can listen to the speaking of the student, and also this can be used as assessment. So, or for students' practice. Here there are 3 exercises on just one lesson, the speaking lesson. Ask for, offer, and respond to help. And there is also another speaking practice about intonation and stress. And here the students are supposed to speak. So in the first activity, it's about functional language. Put the questions and statements in correct order. It's about the functional language that they have learned in the lesson, in the unit, or in the lesson. Here it's about intonation and pronunciation. And the last one is about speaking. So they produce the task themselves. You have a job interview tomorrow, but there are no buses. So your brother drives to work in the same town, ask for his help. So the students can record themselves, and the teacher will listen to that. So it's when the student records, it will say here, awaiting teacher's marks and comments. So the teacher can comment or mark it if it's a homework. So it is also the type of questions that the students use them for practice, or the teacher can use them as homework or for assessment. Okay, that's it. I had to do it very quickly. I'm sorry, but because of the timing. That's okay. Language. Have any questions?
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, please do pop them in the chat box, because there's quite a lot going on in there. But some really nice things, I think, to get that age group speaking. I mean, it's nice that the unit has so many speaking objectives. I mean, if I think about adult courses that I've taught in the past and the way that the course books were structured, it's very much the traditional approach. We're going to teach them some grammar. We're going to teach them some vocabulary. We'll do practices through reading and listening. And then there's a speaking task at the end of the unit. And this kind of breaks that model. It's saying, no, let's use every skill and every task to get them to do these kind of mini speaking activities, which then they can put it all together, all of these ideas and all of this practice at the end of the unit to do more kind of comprehensive speaking. And that's set up so nicely, I think, with these videos. They're fun. I know that people who are using Language Hub, their students really enjoy those videos. And somebody was asking about whether or not they share the video first, or how do you use a video in class? And I think, I guess that's up to you and the goals that you have for using that particular video. You could do what I just did, and you could pause it at certain parts in the video and then get them to discuss, like, what do you think is behind the door? Or what advice would you give? Maybe they can listen and have a model on the first one. And then when she goes into the boys' bedroom, what do you think he's going to say? Will he have the same advice? Will he have different advice? Get them to share their thoughts and ideas, because they've got parts of the unit that they've already done, right? So they've already got some vocabulary to use.
And actually, Nathan, there is guidance for the teacher. With every single step, they will tell her what part of the video to show, what are the questions about it. So actually, it gives great support, even for teachers who do not have that many years of experience. Yeah, who are new teachers.
And I think one of the things I really like about the videos are that, I mean, you mentioned about body language, the importance of watching, not just having a model, but being able to watch, let's say, the intonations, facial expressions, and they're all real life situations, right? So it is the kind of situations that your students might find themselves in. They may travel, they may study in other countries, they may live in shared accommodation, they might travel in the future. So these types of things. But what I really like is the fact that in those videos, all of the actors, I guess they're all ESL students. Yeah, the girl is from Spain. The guy, I think, is from Scandinavia. So, and as you watch and you go through those videos, you'll see that, and I think this is a really good role model for them. They're students that are like them. They're not what people would traditionally call native speaker actors that are doing it. So it's really nice for them to see that there are out there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful one, by the way. And actually, I'd like to participate in this and reply to Marwa's question in the chat box. Well, Marwa, you start with the lead in your lesson, which is related to the context, and the context, the video represents the context. So you ask the students to watch the video and some questions are mentioned in the coursebook, right? Yeah, can you hear me now?
I think you might need to repeat that last bit.
Is my voice clear? Yeah. Again, you start with the lead in. You start with the lead in and use the video as a context and ask the students to watch the video and answer some questions. And then ask the students to come up, use some of the examples mentioned in the video as examples, for the target language, and then deal with teaching target language, deal with the meaning, form of pronunciation. And of course, when dealing with functional language, sometimes it's not necessary to go, through the form, deal with the meaning and then how to pronounce it. And then you can ask the students or do some controlled practice tasks as included in the book, and then have a speaking task and have the students themselves speak using the target language.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you could do it. I mean, you could, but the nice thing about having all the digital technology, the app and the students' profile online is that they can watch this video also in their own time. You don't have to necessarily do it in class. And again, that helps them to be able to watch it more than once if they need to. They can be analyzing certain things, because if students watch that video in class, they're focusing on perhaps one particular aspect. Whereas if they watch it at home many, many, many times, they'll pick up on different things the second and the third time. Actually, I didn't notice her body language on the first one because I was listening for the words. So yeah, you can flip your classes as well, get them to engage with the videos in their own time, put them into groups and let them watch them in little groups, and then come up with questions that they have to share with the class. A video doesn't have to be a whole class activity. You can approach the video, I think, in different ways. Hopefully, Marwa, that gave you some ideas and some things to think about. And I think we've all got some things to think about as we go back, or as we go into the summer. I know everyone's coming to the end of the academic year. We put these sessions together because we know that this academic year is so fresh in your minds that we want you to go into the summer with some points of reflection, rather than we come back after the summer and then you like, oh, I'm kind of sleepy and I'm now preparing all of my new classes. We want you to be fresh and reflective. We've just done it. Think about how you can incorporate some of these things over the next academic year. Or if you've got teaching in the summer, you might want to practice them as well. Okay, great. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to bring up the last slide because I do want to remind you that, I don't know where I am in all of these slides. Certificates will come out in the next few weeks. If you weren't with us at the very, very beginning, if you joined us halfway through, there's a certificate that will come out in the next few weeks. I've got a lot to do and I'm taking some annual leave, but you will get them in the next few weeks. And also I will send you some other professional developments, activities and information as well. And this is the final webinar for this week, for week 1, but we do have week 2, and we've got 4 webinars from Monday to Thursday in the evenings again next week. We're looking at differentiation, lots more productive skills with young learners, and for writing for adults. And also Anna's going to be talking about engagement and motivation. So we've got loads going on next week. If you haven't registered for them, you can go to the website, which is here, which is menapdacademy.com. You can scan that QR code and it'll take you straight to the website. And on the homepage, you will see a link to register for all of the webinars. Other than that, you can connect with myself, Mohammad, Nawar on LinkedIn, and you will also see our posts there to register as well. From me, though, I would like to once again thank both of our speakers from the bottom of my heart this evening, because they both did an absolutely wonderful job sharing all their ideas with us. Mohammad, thank you for taking the time to join us. Nawar, thank you for an amazing overview and some insights into Language Hub. Hopefully people will go and have a little look at that. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you from me, and I will pass over to the other two and they can also say their goodbyes as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks everyone for attending.
Bye.